Okay, let's start off with the number 11. 11. The San Marcos salamander, Uricanana, is a light reddish-brown translucent salamander about 2 to 5 centimeters in length. E. nana is found only in Spring Lake and a portion of the San Marcos. Which human activity will most likely decrease the ability of the salamanders to survive? So first off, I'm looking and it says is found only in the Spring Lake and a portion of the San Marcos River. Okay, so this is the only place that they're living. It's obviously in water and it seems like it's fresh water. And before we go into the question, I do want to remind you, this is the genus, this is a species, okay? Remember, the species you don't really have in common with things, but genuses you do. So how do you relate things? You don't relate them by the species name, you relate them by the genus name. Because for example, Canis domesticus is a domesticated canine dog. Felis domesticus is a domesticated cat. Do we relate them because they're both domesticus? No, you relate stuff by their genus. So if it was Canis lupus and Canis domesticus, they're both related because they're dogs, canes. Okay, so real quick, so ready? Which human activity will most likely decrease the ability of the salamander to live? Okay. Increasing water consumption that decreases the flow of clean water into the springs. That sounds good because they need water, they need obviously fresh water. Okay. Public transportation that reduces the number of automobiles. Hey, that's good. Oh, that contributes to pollution runoff. Okay, that would help, but it's not that contribute to the pollution runoff into the river. That would help, but it's not as good as a tourism that helps fund the educational programs. That's good, but that's not as good as the addition of new food source into the river that limits competition. Now, if they introduce a new predator, that'd be bad. But if they're introducing a new prey, because a food source is a prey, that's good. But out of all of them, I would say increasing water, okay? Yes, it would give them more to eat, but they've already got enough to eat. So best for 11 is A. Next one. Okay, evolution of horses. Okay, so we're looking at the evolution, and I just, with my naked eye, it says recent. Whew. Up to 3 million years ago, 7 million, so as you can see, we're going past. By looking at it, it looks like the size of the horse decreased. Yeah. Okay, the data in the graph, in the diagram, is evidence that a new species of horse suddenly appeared. No, it was always there, it just changed. Horses slowly developed over time. Not gonna lie, that seems right. G seems correct. Horses have similar stages of rapid embryological development. Remember, an embryo is when they're developing from the cellular stage. Those are not embryos. Horses have a common ancestry with other hoofed animals. That's not a lie, but does it show other hoofed animals? No, it just shows the evolution of one hoof. So even though some of these do make sense and seem like they're right, the only thing that this one evolutionary chart shows is that horses slowly developed over time. Also, keyword slowly, because that first one was 3 million, this is 60 million. Okay, next one, 12. Ooh, did I go over 12? Oh, that's 12. Okay. 13, okay, we got a virus. Okay, student produces a label drawing of a virus for a presentation. The student states that the capsid, remember the capsid's the outside, functions similar to a nuclear membrane found in animal cells. Okay, I'm thinking they're doing it because, remember, in an animal cell, you have a membrane, just the plasma membrane, okay, just the cell membrane. And then you have a nuclear membrane with the nucleus. So they're saying, okay, The capsid is almost like the nuclear membrane because it holds the DNA. I get it. Also, when you're doing these questions, look at how much information they give you on viruses. That might help you with another question. So don't forget to look back. Okay, so which of these describes the similar function of a capsid in a nuclear membrane? In my head, it's the only thing that's similar is it surrounds it, because the nuclear membrane, well, they could be made of proteins too. Let's see. Both transport proteins throughout, no, they don't transport, they're just a membrane. Both provide energy, no, that's carbs and maybe lipids. Both protect genetic information, yes. Both code for proteins, no. They just protect the genetic information. Enzymes are proteins that have a three-dimensional shape that is specific to a particular substrate. What they're saying is they got a 3D shape, and if this is the enzyme, this is the substrate. If this is the enzyme, this is the substrate. Remember, it's got to go in here and activate the active site. Okay, what is most likely a result? If the shape of an enzyme changes. So, if this enzyme shape changes to this, can its substrate get in? No. So I would say the substrate doesn't fit in and it can't activate the active site to cause the reaction. The substrate will change its shape to match the enzyme. I don't know. The enzyme will no longer be able to catalyze the reaction for the substrate. That one seems pretty good. The products made from the enzyme and substrate will be changed. There's no product from the substrate. The enzyme will be able to bind to more diverse substrates? No. Your enzyme just bonds to one thing. Best answer is, what are we on, 14? Is G. The enzyme will no longer be able to catalyze the reaction. Okay. Okay, 15. Whew. I see ATP, so it means energy. Okay, so a type of cellular transport is shown below. So first off, they're saying that this thing goes down into this thing. Remember, if you're going into a crowded space, you have to fight your way into a crowded space. This uses energy. Obviously, it uses energy. If the arrow was opposite and you're just going into a less crowded space, you would not need it. When you're going to a less crowded space, you're passive. When you're fighting your way into a crowded space, you're active. So this drawing right now, it says it uses energy, so I know it's active transport. Also, it's using a protein channel. Okay, so let's see what the question says. Which description is best identifies this type of cellular energy? So, it's active, okay, facilitated. Ooh, it is using a protein channel, which is facilitated, which is part of facilitated diffusion, but if it's diffusion, it is not using energy. So it is using a protein channel, but it's active. Osmosis, it's not the movement of water. Endocytosis, dang, we didn't even have to read anything. We just knew that was active because energy is used to move. Okay, next one. Real quick, I'll tell you this. It would be facilitated diffusion if one of these squares just went, I'm sorry, this is, scratch that, sorry. Okay. Going into the crowded is active no matter what. Going into the less crowded is diffusion. Okay? Going into the less crowded, using a protein channel is facilitated diffusion. Okay? But it's still not using energy because you're going from crowded to less crowded. Okay. 16. Okay, lemurs. Okay, an II lemur is a mammal that feeds mostly on insects, larvae, and that live inside trees. The II lemur has a specialized middle finger. that is long and thin. The ii lemur moves along the tree branches and taps the branch with its specialized finger. When the ii lemur hears differences in the echo, it will tear open the bark with its teeth until the insect tunnel is exposed. The ii lemur then uses its specialized finger to reach the insect larvae and remove it. Ugh. Okay. Which selective pressure most likely resulted in the development of the ii lemur's special adaptation? Okay, so what they're saying is, what pressured the ii lemur into the adaptation with the fingers? Now, because that whole question up there told us that the fingers were for extracting larvae, my guess it has to do with food. Some of these are going to sound really smart, but it's got to have to do with food. Limiting water, you're not getting the water with them fingers. Mates, nope. Predators, nope. Food sources, yes. Okay? Okay, number 17. Make sure we're still recording. Oh my gosh, we better be recording. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Mice have two unlinked allele pairs that affect fur color. The table shows how allele pairs affect fur color. The term agouti describes fur with pigment that changes in each hair from the shaft to the tip, giving the fur a banded appearance. Mice with the allele AA allele pair are albino, regardless of the second allele combination. Okay. What is the probability of albinism in the offspring of a cross between two big A, little a, big B, little b? Okay, so they gave you, they're giving you, the chart, and they're giving you a Punnett square to do it. So what is the probability of albinism in an offspring, a cross between two mice with big A, little a, big B, big A, little a, big B, little b? So they're already giving you the Punnett square to go down. Now, they're asking you, what is the probability of albinism? They told you mice with little a pairs are albinism.